I'm gonna go over a full review and demo of this 6-in-1 digital water tester. I'm gonna go over all the features of this water tester, then I'm gonna tell you how to read it, then go over a demo of me calibrating the water tester, and then I'm gonna test pool water, tap water, and spring water. So let's get started. Okay, so let's just first have a look at the tester itself. A really simple, very lightweight, not very big at all, can easily fit in your pocket. We have the screen right here, and then we just have two buttons right here. On the very top, that's where the batteries go. You'll need two AAA batteries, and then on the bottom here has a little protective cover for the detector. So again, this is a 6-in-1 digital water tester. And this does have a lab grade measurement stack. That's what separates this from a lot of other water testers. So this does use a spectroscopy type probe. And the measurements that this includes are TOC, COD, electrical conductivity, 𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗓, temperature, and TDS. So that's a lot of things to measure, a lot of things to memorize. So if you didn't understand any of that, don't worry. This digital water tester, it makes it really easy to read the purity of water. So you don't have to know what any of those mean. There's a score on here, and this does light up to a specific color based on the purity level of the water that you're testing. And of course, we'll go over a demo of that in a second here. And if you are interested in these measurements, I'll give you a quick rundown. The COD, or chemical oxygen demand, that's just the amount of organic pollution in the water. A higher COD just means dirtier water. And then we have TOC, total organic carbon, and this measures the amount of carbon from organic substances in the water. And a lower TOC generally means lower dissolved organic pollutants in the water, which is what you want in your drinking water. And then we have EC, electrical conductivity, and it just tells you how easily electricity passes through the water. And in practice, it tracks closely with TDS, total dissolved solids. Higher E means just more dissolved stuff in the water. And two more here, the 𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗓𝗪, and that's just ultraviolet light at 275 nanometers that the water absorbs. So more absorption, so a higher reading, can hint at more organic contamination. And cleaner water tends to absorb less at this UV wavelength. And then finally, TR transmittance. This just refers to how much light gets through the sample. Higher transmittance leads to clearer water. Let's go ahead and calibrate the water tester first. Okay, so we have all our waters right here. We have the distilled water, spring water, tap water, and pool water. So we'll go ahead and move these off to the side, and we'll just need the distilled water right now as we're going to, again, calibrate it. So we'll go ahead and take off the little cap. We'll go ahead and turn on with the power button right here. Okay, and once it's on, then we'll want to hold the M button for 5 seconds. Go ahead and do that. And then we'll get the calibration option. And then we'll go ahead and press the M button once more. Okay, and then we'll press the power button to go to calibration. And then it'll say insert purified water, short press M calibration. So we'll put it in the water and then press the M button again. And we have our min and max levels that we want to put the probe into. So go ahead and put it in. We'll go ahead and press once. And it says calibration successful. So it really quickly went on the screen. It said calibration successful, and this is the screen that you'll come to when the calibration is finished and successful. So now we're ready to start testing other water here. Okay, we'll first start with spring water. So also it's important to note that you'll just want to be testing this with water. You don't want to be using any tea, beverages, any alcohol. This could ruin the probe. So just stick to water here. Okay, so all we have to do is just put this on in and then press the M button. So go ahead and do that. And then just like that, we have our reading. So we get 98, excellent. So it does give us the COD, TOC, and TDS right on the front screen here. So we have a COD of 0.3, TOC of 0.4, TDS of 42. So again, excellent score with the spring water here. It's actually the spring water I just got from the back right here, the water dispenser. Okay, so those were the main readings. We can also see other readings. Go ahead and test the water again. We can press the power button, and we can get another menu that shows us. So So go ahead and do that. Put it in. Okay. Got 97 this time. Press the down arrow button, and we get this other screen where we can see the different readings that I had just mentioned right before doing the calibration. So you can see that. But it's nice that the main screen just has the 3 main readings for you. So you can go into the other readings if you would like. And as mentioned, you'll notice that the screen is blue. So you do get different color screens with the scores that you get. And what's really nice about this is you can also look on the back to see the different measurements. And it also gives you the parameters as well, in case you forget the abbreviations. So really comprehensive, everything's in here that you need. Again, it's foolproof, it has the score, you can look on the back, you can see what the ratings are, you can see what the analysis is, you can see what the parameters are, so very helpful. Okay, so before we test the pool water, of course you'll want to know what reading is okay to drink or considered safe to drink. So our ratings are excellent, good, average, and poor. So excellent and good are considered safe to drink, and then average and poor, you'll want to use caution. And of course, the poor, you definitely won't want to drink that water. One important thing to note, you'll be surprised when we test this pool water, that it's probably gonna get a high score. So a word of caution, even though something may seem or get a high score, doesn't mean it's, of course, safe to drink. So my pool water doesn't really have any chemicals, it's pretty clean, no issues with the water, so I expect it to get a high score. But of course we know that pool water, not something you want to drink. Of course, if you definitely drink some pool water, you're going to be fine. It's, of course not toxic to have some pool water, but it's not the water you want to be consuming all the time here. So let's go ahead and test it. Put it on in, press M. Okay, and then we got a 97. So pretty high, pretty good. But of course, pool water is not drinking water. So while it doesn't have a lot of total dissolved solids, so on our meter here, we can see the TDS, total dissolved solids, is 182. And the COD and TOC are 0. So pool water is of course gonna have more TDS, total dissolved solids, because the salt, the chlorine, the stabilizer. So this tester is really good at flagging dirty water, organic heavy water. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a green light to go ahead and drink. So always keep that in mind when using this tester. Okay, then we look at the pool water. We can see it has a 363 𝗪𝗚275. Okay, and then finally, we will go ahead and test the tap water. If you're testing pretty dirty water, definitely recalibrate it after 1 to 2 uses. Just keep that in mind when you're working through this, so you're always getting an accurate reading. Okay, so go ahead and put this on in. Okay, so for the tap water, we have a COD of 1, TOC of 1.3, a TDS of 47. So TDS much lower, of course, for the tap water than pool water. And we look at the other readings, a UV275 of 0.013, of 93, and it has an excellent. It's 92 though, so a bit lower. Interesting that the pool water is higher in the score than the tap water is. And then we can see page 2 with the other readings. And let's just go back to the spring water real quick. Go ahead and recalibrate it with distilled water. Just to give the readings again, just to compare them. Go ahead and hold down for 5 seconds on the M. Okay, then press the down arrow and power button, and press the M once more. Calibration succeeded. Then we'll go ahead and test the spring water again. Get that reading. So I love how instant it is. You don't have to sit here for like 2 minutes just holding this. It really just instantly reads it out. Okay, so for the spring water, we have a COD of 0.2, TOC of 0.2, TDS of 43. Definitely higher because it has minerals in it. And then excellent 98 score. Let's see what else we got. UV275.002, EC of 85. So we'll go ahead and show you those readings. Again, this is for the spring water. Here's the second page. And then the score 98, excellent. So who is this water tester really for? Anyone who's camping, who's living the RV van life, you have a well outside, you just want to test your tap water, you're traveling. This is just a good tester to ensure that you're not having any contaminants in the water and to help you make a much better decision on if the water is okay to drink. So what are my opinions on this water tester? Overall, it isn't a perfect water tester, but it does give you a lot of different readings, which is really nice. Having those 6 different measurements really helps. And it does help you make a better educated decision on if the water is safe to drink or not. It's small, lightweight, it just takes 2 AAA batteries. You can easily test any water anywhere and take this wherever you want. So in my opinion, this is definitely a water tester worth checking out.